everyone, welcome to Gaia Rising Now. I'm out working in the garden today. I have some mint that we grew. We have a great vegetable garden. I have carrots, broccoli, and spinach growing right now, in addition to the mint and cilantro. When we moved here back in '07 from LA, didn't know much about gardening, and we live on the river, so we had a lot of sand in our dirt. So we learned over the years. We've reconditioned the soil with our goat manure, and now we're able to grow some amazing vegetables that we can enjoy. And today we're going to talk at great length about a lot of things, just to introduce ourselves to my good buddy Paul Becker. He is the administrator over at Transdimensional Alliance page, the group over there on Facebook. He is very knowledgeable, and that's what we have to look forward to today. So I hope you enjoy the show. All right. Hey, everybody. This is my good buddy, Paul Becker, also known as Paul Australian, from the Transdimensional Alliance page on Facebook. We met a couple years back on the Starseeds page, and like minds, like energy seems to magnetize each other. It's not like we spent a lot of time talking to each other. I think we probably just both realized or recognized that, we're of the same ilk. So in any event, I wanted Paul to come on and talk to you about some of the things that we've discussed. He's somebody that I've determined to be one of the more highly awakened people as myself. And what I mean by highly awakened is just our thinking, our knowledge, our understanding goes beyond religion. It goes beyond, certainly beyond gender and color of skin. That's infantile. It's beyond religion. It's beyond this planet. It goes back to pure source. And so we're going to just kind of jump on into it. Say hi, Paul. Tell everybody who
Hello,
you are, what
everybody
you're
out
thinking.
This is going to be probably my first show or first experience in doing this, but
Excellent.
I wanted to do it on my own. And
Yeah.
Wendy has a background in this, where mine's more audio, musical, even though she does the same thing. She knows more about the video aspects of this, so this is kind of going to be good.
It's all new
Yes,
for all of
we're
us.
talking. I think our main thrust here is we're talking about the truths that are coming out, the stuff that we're finding out that for so many years we've believed, and that word believe,
Brainwashed.
is really not true. Yeah, it's really not true. It's been a fabrication or what have you, to lead us away from the truth and away from our sovereignty and away from our own personal deity and our
divinity.
relationship with Source.
Yeah.
So these are things are really quite heavy right now. We're past 2012, and that stuff didn't happen. That's a timeline thing. I think somehow that maybe all that information was not quite correct.
No. Actually, it is correct. It's just that people are looking for different things. As an energy practitioner, I could feel the energy shifting dramatically around that time. So I think that it had more to do with just the the subconscious, really, the collective subconscious was really coming to a head. And right around that time, we had frequency shifts that allowed people to, that were on that wavelength, really open up to a higher level of understanding. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that talking about the fact that when you kind of first wake up, you seek information, but then you become like a crack addict, and then everything activates you, and until you learn discernment. So if we just kind of maybe talked a little bit about from that spectrum.
It's really hard for a lot of people to understand this, but Wendy knows a lot about this because she's been in the belly of the beast of that actual situation.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen a little bit of it in entertainment and the music scene, and just in my knowledge of the music industry. Also,
and you've traveled a lot. You've traveled a lot.
Wendy knows the deeper. She knows the deeper end of it, which is basically I won't just say Hollywood, but it's media it's the media that's controlled, and it really, really, really is more so than you would ever think.
It's
beyond, it's deeper.
Yeah, it's beyond anything that the average person can understand.
Than you'd ever think, and it's lie upon lie upon lie to hide another lie, and everything is chaos in that situation, and that's how they rule over us.
And the sad part is,
exactly.
The sad part is, Paul, is that people trust. They trust like little children. So when you tell them these things, when you tell them that in the early 60s, they started, fluoridating the water, they started putting subliminals in every commercial ad to condition your mind, to condition your body, and now we're generations later, and they falsify history, and you tell people this, and they can't handle it.
Ads.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's terrible.
The 50s TV ads are just blatant, and they are so blatant.
Yep.
Now there's all this hidden stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like it really tricky.
And the cartoons that we grew up on too. A lot of sexual subliminals, because they're all pedophiles. I mean, they really are, and it's not. When I say they, who do I mean? You really should ask yourself that, people, because these aren't humans. These aren't humans that are here or running all of these systems on this planet. They're not humans. So they like hurting children, because the vibration of the terror of a child is like having a hot fudge sundae to them.
Yeah, or the biggest dope hit.
Yeah, opium. Yeah. Whatever your crack is,
Yeah, it's their adrenaline. It's their rush.
Adrenaline, right?
Yes. And it's this aspect of people. The truth is, children disappear, people disappear, and it's only so much of it is stated through the media, because why would they tell the truth? Because they're part of the whole issue. Okay, they're part of the whole thing, and it's going on at their level too, and it's that deep. So I don't want to get into what I've heard from other people.
No, I don't think we need to do
personal
that right now.
aspect. what happened to me in first and second
Yeah.
grade, and I know that I'm serious.
Well, this is
This
the
goes
thing.
on.
A lot of people who are watching have these experiences that they have buried in their minds, because this is, I would say, about 80% of us have been sexually perpetrated in our childhood in
One way or another.
in alignment with this pedophilia that is rampant in the white patriarchal system ownership, overlords.
Ritualistic circumcision, yes,
Yeah.
of male and female.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this
yeah.
goes,
Yeah.
not in Western culture so much, but yeah. So this is something that everybody's got to be aware of, because it's gone on too long, and we can take an incorrect evaluation of the law of allowance and just allow everything, okay, which is wrong. Okay, the allowance is within the natural laws first of all. Okay, not, and I have to say this, not the laws of Abraham, because it's not the laws of Abraham.
Yeah, you can't take the allowance into your
It's
own
the laws
hands.
source.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Law is
it's organic.
all within the source. It's organic, and it's there. It's inherent.
Yeah, it's inherent.
It's at subatomic level,
like,
and below
think
that.
Think of it this way. Think of it this way. It's like if you have an operating system and there's just a natural glitch in the operating system, it's just allowed. I mean, you can still use the operating system and it doesn't really get in your way, but there's a slight glitch in it. It's kind of like that. The allowance is like that. It's just a natural organic thing. But when people take that and invert it and say, I will do what I choose, therefore it is, and just do, and it's allowed for. No, that doesn't fly.
Yeah.
That
so
doesn't
fly. What I was getting at there was basically, at this point in time, everybody, those of you who are coming into this, bite whatever you're going to bite into and hold on, because we are serious about this. We have to make this change. And we, at this point, are going to be a little bit more, I should say, well, I don't know if it's just judgmental. I think it's just a matter of what we know now is going to allow us more to be able to come into our sovereignty and say no to things. And that's so important. Passio said it. Many Thessarians said it. So many people are saying this. Learning to say no. And that is our choice. It's a manifestation that we've been given, that we're blessed with in free will. Okay? And if we don't stop, we've got to stop somewhere so we can move on. We've got to say no. And that means not allowing everything. We have to put our foot down. We have to say no. It's like on my group, I created the group to create a lot of admins to build the group. And I trusted people. And it's really been working out quite well. But there's always an influx of people, they could be trolls, they could be whatever. They come on and they're posting stuff that is totally out of what the nature of Transdimensional Alliance. So we used to vote on it, and then we didn't have any problem for a while. But now that we're getting up to closer to 3,000 members, there's more of these people coming in, and they're posting stuff, like there was this black woman that went on. So it was just kind of like a bigoted thing, that you should kill people to take over, to be the new rulers, And no,
because that always works.
Yeah, and that is like, that right there, it was like, you're done, gone, okay? And I wanted to see what would happen, and there were two posts from the same person that were similar, and I let them do it. And as usually we would vote, if there's a question, we would vote on it and remove it. But in this case, it wasn't a Ray-Ban ad. It was something about, killing people to rule over them, whatever. It was just a bunch of crap. So one of my best admins, he said, "That's it," and he took the responsibility to say no, and he kicked him off. And that's what we have to do in any given situation in life. We've got to start becoming aware, and we have to start making our choices. Now, here's the thing. This consciousness thing, this transdimensional thing that we're in, is something I feel it's a very wonderful thing once you know it. We're trying to pull as many people as we can, but there are going to be people that are not going to go along with the flow of this. They're just not going to. So we plant a seed, and I swear that the light of truth seed you can plant anywhere. It might take years, but maybe, if time runs out for those people, time's run out. I don't know, and I'm not going to try to make that judgment because I don't know. And I'm not going to just say, well, I know this, or this timeline thing, or I don't know. But all I do is know, what I do know is what is reflected in these people that I've come up with. Like Wendy is one, and there's just many people around the world. We're all on the same. It's like we're in the same book, in the same chapter, on the same page, in the same sentence, and we are the same word.
And it's very hopeful. It gives us hope. It's not like
and it's blissful. If it is. It's blissful.
Yeah. Oh, it is blissful because you get a validation with it. Yeah.
Yes, and it is more real. It's more real than a bliss that might come from improper transcendental meditation. I mean, there's always a proper way. There's always a right and a wrong way. There's always less is more is less. It depends on how you utilize, and you don't have to be. We're just talking about a balance of usage. We have to feel things out, or we don't learn. We have to feel pain, people. We don't want to feel pain, but we can't ignore it.
Yeah.
And if we don't deal with it, if we try to sweep it under the rug, or these problems that we might have, then it's baggage that we carry along with us that's basically we don't need. And it's like, I just know this is true.
Let me put it more simply for those that are watching, in that if you want to move into this new burgeoning earth of a higher consciousness, where you are more aware of your co-creative, collaborative elements with like-minded people. If you want that kind of experience for yourself, a higher path, a sense of purpose, you can't get there when you're carrying pain. You can't get there when you're vibrating in these lower frequencies, these lower emotions of fear, because any baggage you're feeling is really sprouted in fear. Everything is a derivative of fear. You're afraid that you're going to be abandoned. You're afraid you're never going to find love. You're afraid. And the sad thing is that we are dualistic. So if you focus that energy on being afraid, that is what you co-create. You co-create with yourself a negative, fearful, baggage, ridden experience. And that's not harmonic. That's not transcendent. That's not fun.
Yeah, it's only manifesting more. Yeah, it's only manifesting more.
So now's the time. unless you want to be stuck here in this struggle for survival, where you're constantly victimized and enslaved and forced into a daily existence that is generally not full of joy. It's you're a piece of cattle that's forced into work and labor, and then the money that you're given, whatever amount it is, you then are brainwashed into putting it right back into the owner's hands. So you may be placated for a while with that shiny new, object, but this is not living. This is not life. This is not what was intended. And the only way out of this is forward. And it's with insistence that we will not accept this reality any longer. But it's done with balance, in that we want to, we don't want to manifest a negative vibration. We need to do this. I'm empowered. So when I say no, people don't question me. They don't push me. They go, okay, thank you, Wendy. Because I've earned that. I was a victim too many times. So when I say no, I don't say it. I say, sweetie, I love you so much, but I can't do that. And they, oh, it's okay. Thank you so much. But I promise I'll think about it for next time. That vibration of, no, but hey, I love you. Hey, it's okay. That's how we have to deal with them. The system overlords. We have to say, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. And say it with a smile because of all the traps that they have set up for us. Because we don't want to end up in their traps.
And most of the time, they don't even know what they're about. You see?
I know.
Okay? They're carrying on because actually somebody's above them.
Yeah.
Okay? Using the same aspect of fear.
Yeah.
So it's just it's not just a trickle down effect. It's like a rain down. It's like a thunderstorm, hurricane of crap. And we know within natural laws and like electrical laws that negative is darkness, okay? We can say darkness, we can say negative, we can say, but really, we're not saying that it's evil, darkness is evil. It's just the aspect of the laws, and in the electrical sense, okay, everything flows from that darkness. It flows from negative ground
and is grounded by the light or red. If you're looking at a battery, you've got a red cable, a positive cable, and you've got a black cable, which is the dark cable. That is the grounder.
Balance is the neutral.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So we have to know that to attain balance, and we don't make the pain by going away by ignoring it. We look at it and we use our ego in this correct sense to help guide our left and right brain to correct decisions to extricate ourselves out of that manifestation. And that's how we move, not some other way. It just doesn't work that way by some other brainwash, because there's so many programs that brainwash us and don't get us anywhere, and they give us the illusion that we've gotten somewhere.
Yeah.
Just like we could say revolution, okay? We say revolution or revolution of mind. It's not really a revolution. Most revolutions in the sense of political were all backed anyway, and they really didn't do anything. They just went around on the same level of consciousness and returned to the same point where nothing was really taken care of. It was just painted over or something, you know? So what we're talking here is, and Wendy knows this so well, it's an evolution that's going on. This effect of the truth, the light, the love and the light, but it's actually the unconditional love that's doing this. That's, once we step into that, we bestow that upon ourselves, and it's within our prime purpose every day.
Yeah, I call it the evolution revolution. It's the evolution revolution, and that
not the opposite.
Yeah, and if you think about it, that it, like you said it very well, it's very energizing. It's not, you know, when you say revolution, it's heavy, but this is the evolution revolution. It's immediately we're expanding, we're connecting, we're activating, we're, you know, we're moving out. We're moving out.
Yes. Some people know this part of this consciousness thing, the vortex. Well, that vortex of energy is constantly, okay, if we are in an evolutionary path, we are constantly, our vortex is moving in this, and it's not staying on the same plane. It is constantly moving up. This is why, you know,
it's a spiral.
We're breaking through to it. It's a spiral, yes. And it's revolving, but it's evolving as it revolves up. And as our consciousness expands and grows, that's the true essence of the vortex we should be in, not the vortex of control and brainwash and programming. So
I agree.
And it's easy to get caught in an aspect of vortex that is incorrect, right? If it's not going to be organic, right, then it's it's just another thing that they've designed. It's still an illusion.
Yeah.
Right? It's like funny. It's hard to understand that it's really an illusion that's within the construct of between negative and balance, or well, the neutral and the positive. But, so it's like.
But it also goes like this. From the way I look at it. For us to share the information that we have, it's our perspective, because we experience things. So we have a perspective that somebody else may not have. So somebody can say to us, well, you know, that's subjective. Well, it's not really subjective as much as it is our perspective. So if you're going to argue with me, if somebody's going to argue with me about that, I'm going to be non-objective to it, because it is my perspective, and so it is subjective, but it is not something I will argue with somebody about or allow them to take away from me. In that, no, you're wrong, and I don't like being that way. But in the same breath, that person cannot be, as the Matrix says, that person cannot be shown. It cannot be told. You know, it's something you have to go through. So while the experience...
it's an experience, yes.
Yeah, while the experience is subjective based on our perspective, that person who is on the opposite end of the pendulum, because balance is the pendulum. The positive and negative dualities have a midpoint. That is balance. That is neutral. And that is objective. That is when you say, I allow for the fact that that person must experience the matrix for themselves, or they cannot understand it. Grasshopper. And
that's
so,
right.
And so we need to be gentle on each other, vigilant, absolutely vigilant, but gentle and understanding, like a good mother or father does, that, you know, the youngins are excited, they're thirsty for experience, but in the same breath, we need to guide them and be the elders that we really are. We hold history that they don't know, so they don't see that they're being brainwashed. They don't see that they're being lied to. They don't see the manipulation the way we do. And so, you know, for our activists out there and our old experienced, you know, graduating class, you know, we have to be mentors. We have to be mentors, just like you started your page and you're expressing to me how you're mentoring, because that's what I'm hearing you saying. You're mentoring people, and that's a good thing.
Yes, and at the same time, because of this correct allowance that we manifest and help those people, bring them in so they can understand it too, because it can't work just one way. Okay, it's just it's not. But at the same time, there is a time when we have to say no, or where we take on the warrior aspect, our male aspect. So when we do that, this is what we're talking about when we say no to this. When we say no to the New World Order, when we say no to political systems, when we say no to control, when we say no to this brainwash, when we say no, and it's because we know first. That sounds like I've been brainwashed, but really, it's the truth. Okay, and that's what Wendy and I know. That's what we know, what we found out. And anybody out there, if you apply this, you're going to know it. You're going to feel it, and then sky's the limit, because this is a wonderful thing that we're experiencing right now, and it's probably the most, I would say it has to be the most important time of humanity.
It's the most vital moment in human history. We are making history. We are ascending while still on a planet, because of the fact that planet Earth is evolving as we are. So as our frequency is rising, so is the planet's frequency. And the beautiful thing that if people can keep in mind, all of the three-dimensional entities and constructs don't exist in the fifth dimensional reality. They don't exist. So if for any other reason you stay vigilant, it's to be able to experience that, and not only that, to pass the baton onto the next, you know, souls to incarnate and be here on Earth, and to share in that free will, passionate, emotional, you know, system which it was designed for. Not the prison, not the control. That wasn't the way this place was designed. It was art. It was pure art. Really, it was pure art, because that's what creation is. It's creation.
Mm-hmm.
And yes. We're artists, so we understand and appreciate that for sure.
So I wanted to add something about the aspect of fifth. Well, even in the aspect of fourth, I can't really say. I just want to talk about time. Time up there, vibrationally, does not exist, and it might exist in some sense, but not in the sense of what we think it is here. No. So actually, time is a constriction, okay, and a compression, And really, it's a limitation, and it's also a form of slavery.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
so it's like, you know, that's one thing people I didn't, and I thought about that. It's like I didn't even think about that
You know what, Paul?
until about a week ago. And it's just like,
You want to hear something crazy? Being an indigo, when I was probably 18 years old, I realized that wristwatches wouldn't work on my arm. I destroyed them. No, I mean, seriously, I would buy a watch and I'd wear it and it would stop working. And I'd have it fixed and it would work and I'd put it on and it would stop working. And so I realized by about 22 that I wasn't supposed to wear a watch. And so
okay.
I recognized, whether I wanted to or not, the indigo wiring of my electrical system was like, frying these things off my arm,
man.
you know.
I have my own take on that. Every watch I've ever, put one on your wrist.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, if you want to go scuba diving, yeah, put one on, okay, because you're gonna need it. Right. All right, it's really smart to have one. But the thing is, it's like trying to wear one. I don't know how many I broke, and then. I got the pocket watch thing, and I don't know. Forget it. I could not. They wouldn't last.
Yeah, you
it was like
keep them.
It was like I don't care what it was and how tough it was. It wouldn't matter. That thing would be done in a week.
You annihilated time, baby.
Yeah, time does not time. Time and you don't mix.
Yeah.
I swear. That's true.
That
is so true.
It's typical, but those are typical earmarks for indigos as well. Is things like that, messing with electrical systems. A lot of times, back in the city, when I'd walk, down the street at night, the street lights would go off as I walked underneath them, and that's kind of another earmark.
Oh, you don't know how many times that's happened to me. I used to drive a cab. I used to drive a cab in Boston, and when you're driving around the city and you're driving down Storrow Drive, if anybody's been there, it's crazy. Like to have a light go out right when you're there, and this has happened to me countless times.
Yep.
Countless times.
It's our wiring. It's our electrical system, our nervous system.
Right there. Yes.
Yeah.
I've had the strangest happen. I was caught in traffic one time, and I looked up, and a pigeon got struck by lightning, and it landed on my car.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it was smoking.
Oh, my God. That's totally crazy.
I know, but it's just, I've had so many weird things happen to me. Just things are like, whether it's, in sync or out of sync, whatever. It's just some things that were just, huh?
Well, you made me think of one, and since I have so many of them, and I rarely remember them unless they come up in conversation, I'm going to share this one, and you'll appreciate this from a musical sense. I was stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic on a triple-digit day on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood. I was working for Mark Mothersbaugh, our friend over at Mutato Musica, because I think that we have a friend in common over there. And I had to do a run around the corner. I literally had to go around the corner. And they were doing construction as well. So around the corner, and on top of it, it was a submission that had a deadline, and it had to be in within 30 minutes. And I'm like, I'm going around the corner. I didn't even think twice about it. So I leave the office in my car, and I didn't have air conditioning, and all of a sudden I'm in the thick of stop traffic, and 20 minutes have gone by, and I'm like, oh my God, how is this possible? Nowhere could I go. Nothing could I do. It was just, I was losing my mind. And as I sat there, I was so mad. My windows were down in the car, and I had this image in my head of having a machine gun and blowing up all the storefront windows on Santa Monica Boulevard, because I was just, I was so disgusted with LA, you know, and this was like another moment, an epiphany. But check it out. I'm having this thought in my mind, right? And I'm seething mad. And I'm just, this is just in my mind. And I'm sitting in the car, and all of a sudden I hear, sweetheart, sweetheart. And I'm like, who's talking to me? And I go, darling, I hear, darling, darling. And I look over to my left, and as my head turns, my eye catches this white limousine, the front of it. And as I scroll my eyes past down the back to the back of the limousine, there's the person in the back has the window down, and it's Little Richard. And Little Richard is going, Little Richard says to me, darling, it's not that bad. It's going to be okay. And I burst into laughter, and I said, of course it is, Little Richard. Of course it is. But this is even weirder. The next day, I'm on the other side of town, and I'm on another run in Studio City. And the same thing happens. All of a sudden, I'm in the midst of traffic, and all this stuff's going down. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, this is just, I can't stand this running around like a crazy person. And as I'm thinking this, all of a sudden, Little Richard in that white limousine drives past me on the opposite side of the street and waves to me. Like, really? No way. So Little Richard was sent to me by some angelic force that day. Or those 2 days, that period of time. But that was one of the weirder things ever. I mean, think about that. What are the odds of that?
That is just, that is a synchronicity. And,
I know.
Oh, there's another word for that too. What do they call that?
I always call them synchronicities. I don't know, but yeah,
but the second time around, it's like.
Yeah, that's but and we'll just close with this. I think that's the beautiful thing about being an awakened human is it's not that you're supposed to know completely what you're doing, but it's about staying cognizant and recognizing the synchronicities. The synchronicities are your secret breadcrumbs. They're your little puzzle pieces. And when you start to gather enough puzzle pieces, just like a puzzle, the picture becomes clear. You start to understand it. It makes sense. It becomes a work of art. And that's what our lives here are. And having beautiful friends like you and connections that we share, and our deep desire to share with the others and to aid them. I think that's the best synchronicity of all. Why don't you pick up that guitar and play an outro for us?
An outro?
Come on, Paul, play us an outro.
Okay, here's an outro. I don't know. I'm not using my face.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Becker. Oh, sweetheart.
That's the end. That's the end of some kind of blues thing.
It's
I didn't want to go into. I start into a blues thing. It's like, how do you end it? Well, you got to go through 12.
Plus, that's so metaphorical. We're singing the blues. Well, listen, we're going to talk again, and thank you so much for talking to us tonight. And Paul's going to come back, and he's going to be a reoccurring pleasure for all of us. And tell us something new, Polly.
I'm always learning something new.
I know.
And that's the good thing that keeps us going. There's always some aspect that we're we're learning or learning over again to learn more about it. That's just something that's inherent. We never are going to stop evolving. It's not in our nature to not stop.
Yeah. Well said.
So,
excellent. Thank you, honey, and we'll see you soon.
Yes. And I love you.
Oh, I love you too. Bye, honey.
The there should be thousands here. And there will be thousands here tomorrow. There'll be thousands here tomorrow. Not today. We're here today. And we're here today so that thousands will be here tomorrow. Okay? Because we're preaching to the choir here, right? We're the cutting edge. We're the ones that feel it, have been affected by it. We believe something to be incredibly true. We see the evidence. So it's not a conspiracy. It's not anything but the friggin' truth. As much as they've gone out of their way to deny it and hide it in plain sight. I mean, the insults every day to our mentality is just shocking, people. I mean, really. Anyway, when Gary asked me to come and speak, you know, I mean, obviously I can talk. But I'm not a scientist. I'm not a biologist. I'm just somebody that has been awake my whole entire life. Gosh, I'm 53. Do you know how tormented I've been most of my life? The thing that's beautiful and worth every second of spending the focus of my mission in life to wake people up is that we're waking up. And we're waking up like they can't stop it now. And that is what makes every minute of our resistance and our momentum to go against everything we are told, all the people that believe it, people that think we're nuts. It's going to change. It's because of our courage to go against that grain and to speak up for things that we absolutely know are true.
Without the time to spare, lock the gate, now don't care to spoon feed all who read into the clan and national dam. That then would separate us, goddess would decimate us, or meet to end the war of nerves made in symbols of your curves. I'll walk to stay a desert away, clear our mind with the time. Lacks composure, this is exposure beyond the sleepless, can't even see this. Without space to absorb more, I never saw you as a whore. Would integrate, seed or this bleed. I've got a plan, we'll break a dam that traps us in nationalism that serves our scourge. Needing to end the war of nerves based in beauty of your curves. I'll walk away, a desert to stay. This is exposure, lacks composure. Can't even see this beat on the sleepless. This is exposure, lacks composure beyond the sleepless. Can't even see this. Lacks composure. This is exposure. Can't even see this beyond the sleepless. Lacks composure. This is Hey, everybody out there. I'm Matthew Embry +1, and that last song was entitled Topaz. And I want to thank every last person at CMAC for having me here, and even most mainly, Mr. Brian Kinney Fresno for having me in his stead. Hopefully he will grace this spot very soon. And thanks for tuning in. And this next song is called Addition and Subtraction. Each passing thing you do, every little bit you arrange, is a seed that's always new, is beauty that'll never change. Sometimes I'm blurred with cocoon, wrapped in myriad so new. You can't see time frame zone, how much I really love you. Reaching for passion just makes it worse. Leave behind love's ration, or write down this verse. Each passing thing you do is a little bit to remain. Every way you kiss my lips is a love that can contain. You can't see time frame soon, how much I really love you. Sometimes I'm blurred in cocoon, wrapped with myriad so new. Leaving sweet love would make it worse. Reaching love's cover, or write down this verse. Keeping love's cover, or sing out this verse.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope you'll be here on the 15th when we have Missy Hill, from a guest contributor from In 5D, who will join us, and we'll be talking about the DNA upgrades. Anyway, come back and see us. Thanks again.